What's up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about everything insurance. What type of insurance do you need to run and own your restoration company? In this video, we're going to break down a deep dive on all the various types of insurance. There's going to be over 10 types of policies that we're going to look at. We're going to show you what types of policies there are, examples, ballpark coverages, and what you can expect to pay. Basically, if you own a restoration company, you don't want to miss this video. Let's go. All right, guys, so as we get started, first and foremost, go ahead and like this video and subscribe and drop me a comment. Let me know where you're from. I love hearing from you guys. The insurances for restoration contractors. Let's talk about what we're going to cover in this video. I think I put 10 types of insurance, but I think I added to it as I built the slideshow, so don't worry about the number. But we're going to break down a whole bunch of different policies. What are the types? What are they for? What are examples of the coverage? And what are some suggested policy amounts and the estimated annual premium? That way you'll have an idea of what you can expect to pay. Now, I want you guys to know this. I'm not an insurance agent, and I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I don't know for sure if all of this is completely accurate. It's been a while since I've paid for some of these policies, and other policies I never had at all. Okay, I'm putting this together as a comprehensive list for you, and here's what you need to do. You need to take this to your insurance broker and basically say, hey, is this good? Do I need to cover this? Like, you need to have a good understanding. I will tell you guys this. There's a lot of insurance agents out there that have no idea what the heck they're doing. It is your responsibility to make sure you've got one that has 2 brain cells and actually gives a crap about you, okay? I'm telling you, they screw this stuff up all the time, all right? At the end of this video, if you guys stick around, I'll even share with you the most commonly overlooked policy. In other words, if you don't have this, this is going to be the most likely thing that you'll get stung on. You don't want to miss that. So let's start with general liability. General liability is also called or referred to as G&L. So this is basically something that covers third-party injuries or property damage that is caused by your business during business operations. An example will be like homeowner's property is damaged during a project, okay? The coverage, you should be looking at somewhere between $1 to $2 million per occurrence, and the estimated annual premium for a general liability policy, $500 to $2,000. So it's really not that expensive, okay? That's per year. $500 to $2,000. General liability is not that much money, okay? Workman's compensation. These are benefits that would go to your employees or something in the event that there's an injury from the job. So an example would be that they hurt their back. The coverage based on workman's comp will be dictated and determined by your state. Your insurance agent should probably be able to help you out with this stuff, okay? Each state's gonna be a little bit different. The crazier your state, like California, then you're probably gonna have some crazy stuff. But like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Estimated annual premium, these are going to vary. It's usually done as a percentage of your payroll. So anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000. If someone is injured, okay, this is an important thing. And again, this is just Shane talking here, what we used to do. You need to document the injury in writing. If somebody has a slip and fall or something and they get injured, then you need to document what happened. You can Google a form. If you guys want me to put together the form, I'll have to go find it that we use. Drop a comment and let me know. But yeah, if they slip and fall, somebody gets injured, you need to document it in writing. It needs to be on a form. Then you need to describe what happened, the date that it happened. You need to ask them, do they need medical attention? Yes or no, all right? And in that form, it needs to be checked that, yes, you asked them, did they want medical care, yes or no? And they either said yes, and you sent them to the hospital, or no, they declined. And so you have to get this thing signed, okay, by the employee. Get their signature. And if you guys do send them off to go to the hospital, always make sure you... Hey, I have a question for you. How would you like to fly to Nashville and let me train you directly for 2 days? Guys, we're having our water damage boot camp event this year, and we're opening it up to the public, and I would like for you to come as well. Guys, in this 2-day event, I'm going to be teaching you the best things that I've learned launching and running my own restoration company. Guys, this is a freaking awesome event, and I know that you will love it. You can go to waterdamagebootcamp.com and learn more about it. Once you go to Water Damage Boot Camp, I'll share my screen, and it takes you to this page right here. You can scroll all around and read all the event details, including the dates that are going to be available. You click right here to grab your spot, and it'll just scroll down, and eventually you'll have something where you can go pick your dates. This form will enter up, and you'll just go from there. Guys, the Water Damage Boot Camp is a wonderful event. It is transformational. I promise you this. If you want to grow a restoration company, if you have a restoration company, I have zero doubt you will make far more profit as a result of going to this. Go to waterdamagebootcamp.com. Thank you so much for your support. I love you guys. Hopefully I'll see you in Nashville. Now, let's get back to the video. If you guys do send them off to go to the hospital, always make sure you drug test them. Always make sure you drug test them. We always did. If you have a car accident, you need to send them to go get drug tested. Same thing. Anytime they get into a car accident or they get injured, have them do a piss test, okay? I don't even know if that's legal. You can talk to maybe your attorney or something, but this is just, those are things that we did, okay? you should always document any of their problems in writing, because if you ever have to fire them or get rid of them, you always want to make sure you've got a good written record of all that stuff, okay? Getting off topic. I'm going to zoom back in. Workman's compensation. This is a good one. This is overlooked. So you need to check to see if your state has a workman's compensation exemption. You need to check to see if your state has a workman's comp exemption, okay? What this does is this will allow you to deduct your earnings from the workman's comp tax. So let's say it a little differently. Let's say that you're a roofer. Your workman's comp tax rate might be as high as like 30 or 40%. So if you make $100,000 as a roofer, then you could have to pay $20,000 to $30,000 in workman's compensation, okay? Because you're in a very risky business. Roofing. If you own the business, you can't claim workman's comp on yourself anyway. So what these states will allow you to do is pull your personal income out of that. So if you make 100 grand as an owner, I guess this doesn't directly apply for roofing, but here's my point. If you don't get this exemption, they're going to multiply whatever the multiplier is for your industry, and you could wind up paying over $10,000 when you don't have to. So if you can get this exemption, it can save you at least $10,000 in many cases. And this is something we did. So just go check. I've got a document. I'm going to have my editor, Matthew, if you can put that document up here. I'll put a link to this document in the comments, guys. And you can scroll through this document, and this document will show you basically a bunch of write-up of different states of what they have. Here's what I'm going to say. You can read this document. You may understand it. You may not. Again, take it and go talk to your insurance broker. Your insurance broker should be able to find this, and you can do a quick Google search to find out, does my state have a workman's comp exemption? Yes or no? And then call the state and see if you can get it. You should, okay? It can save you a lot of money. Most states do allow this deduction. It saves you a lot of money, okay? Commercial auto. This feels like a no-brainer. It's coverage to your company vehicles, like a car accident, at least $1 million, okay? The cost will range anywhere from $750 to $2,500 per year per vehicle, okay? That's your annual premium. Now, let's talk about something that's a little bit unique that you may not know. This is what we call a non-hired auto liability. Guys, I've been in business a long time. The craziest things you think would never happen, swear to God, they happen, and they happen all the time. It's ridiculous. So I'll tell you more stories as we go through this, but like, this will protect your company from car accidents, okay, that are involving vehicles that are not owned by the company, but they might be used for personal business purposes. I guess I got to tell this example here. This is hilarious. So this is what happened to me. I had an employee. I can't believe I'm saying this. So what's the little, is it vasectomy? Like when you get your little nut snipped? So I got my man stuff fixed, right? And because we had a baby, my wife said we were done, and we got pregnant again. So funny side note. All right, so I got to tell you this, because now we're getting a little bit off topic, but I'm gonna do it anyway because we're boys, right? So here's the reason why she made me go get snipped. She had an appointment with me one time to go get snipped, okay? And I was sitting in that office, dude, for like an hour. Like the appointment was supposed to be at 3. I got there at 2:45, okay? And like at 4 o'clock, they hadn't let me back there yet. And I was like, screw this, dude. I'm not waiting all day. I got to go. So I left, okay? I left the appointment to get my little vasectomy, okay? And my wife got pregnant. We got pregnant after that. So this is after that happened. I actually went to go get the actual vasectomy. And it was horrible, by the way. It's horrible. It's like torture. So I drove there. And then I had an employee come pick me up. I can't remember what the situation was. Okay, if I thought I could drive. I think I thought I could drive. And you can't drive after that. So I don't know. But anyway, the employee that was coming to pick me up, he was coming in his own personal car. And he got into a car accident coming to pick me up from the vasectomy. How weird is that? Like, that's a lot of personal information there. But hey, it's the truth, okay? This was a great example. I'm telling you, crazy stuff happens, dude. Crazy stuff happens. The employee, he was still on the clock, but he was coming in his own personal vehicle to come pick me up. So anyway, and then he got into a car accident. Unbelievable. It covers stuff like that, okay? Employee wrecks their personal car while driving for business, that's that. It does not cover their vehicle, okay? And I'm not an insurance agent. Talk to your insurance agent. But these are the things that I did some research on this. Like, y'all, I studied more for this for you than I did for myself. Half of this stuff, I just like, Patrick, do we have coverage for this? And like, we just went with it, okay? I've spent more time today than I ever did before. Hopefully I'm smarter than I used to be. Don't just take my word for it. Double check it on your own. But this doesn't cover the vehicle. It covers your liability in the accident, okay? Covers the company's liability in that accident. Cost $250 to $2,000 a year, okay? Umbrella policy. So this is anything that you've got coverage beyond the limits of the policy. An example might be burnt down Cowboy Stadium. Actually, that's not a good example because the coverage $5 to $10 million, $5 to $10 billion would be Jerry Jones Stadium. But I think you get the point, right? The cost on coverage somewhere in there, $5 to $10 million of coverage will run you anywhere from $1,500 to $4,000 a year. Umbrella policy is good. We did have the umbrella policy ourselves. And there's certain situations that you may not need some of these because your umbrella policy may cover some of this stuff, okay? Whoever's writing your like home and your personal, don't use them for your business. I mean, you can, but make sure they know what they're doing, okay? Don't screw around on this. Make sure you're using a business professional for business insurance, okay? Someone that writes your standard property insurance, homeowner's policy, they may not have any clue about this stuff, any clue at all. It could be completely out of their ballpark. Make sure you've got the right person on your team, okay? So the umbrella policy, there's certain cases that you may not need all of these coverages because your umbrella policy may cover it. Again, that's why you let your agent kind of walk you through these things, okay? Pollution liability. This is coverage for claims that are related to pollution caused by your work. An example would be a mold remediation gone bad or a water damage deal. Basically, you're doing something in their house and then you disturb and you spread or you cause mold. That's an example of what would be a pollution liability. And oddly enough, you're going to think that that's covered in your general liability, and it is not. It is not. It's a pollution liability thing. Coverage $1 to $5 million. Cost for that somewhere between $2,000 and $10,000 a year. Okay. Property insurance. This is going to be coverage for damages to the business owned by the property and maybe even the gear. Okay. And again, these are going to be some nuanced stuff as you'll get to see in a minute. All right. An example will be your office catches on fire and everything inside of it is bye-bye, okay? The coverage, what would you need based on whatever you've got in there, okay? Like, that's what you should do. The cost of that, somewhere between $1,000 to $5,000. Inland marine. This is coverage for tools and equipment that move around or are transported to job sites. There's two cases. Now, this is one that most people don't get, or many people don't get too. This would cover, if you're transporting your client's contents, you need an inland business marine policy. That's what would cover that. But this will also cover some of your equipment if it gets damaged or stolen and it's not on your property. So it's my understanding the property insurance covers the stuff while it's on your property. This covers it while it's not on your property. Make sense? Kind of a little different niche there. If you guys do contents and move stuff around, like, be careful with musical gear. Be careful with musical gear. I wouldn't have your people mess with the musical stuff, okay? Your local music studio, they'll have these companies that's called Cartage, and there are professional moving companies that move musical gear. They're not cheap, it's expensive, okay? But you don't need to be screwing with that stuff because some of these instruments can be super expensive, okay? And like the policies that you have may not cover some of that stuff, okay? Don't try to move a baby grand piano. Don't try to mess with a Gibson or Les Paul that was played by whatever, Leonard Skinner or something. Like, deal with the pros, okay, not the Joes. An example of the business in marine is tools or maybe something like that. Equipment is stolen from a job site or from a vehicle that's not located to your property. Again, the coverage based on the value of your assets. Okay, so one of the things that we did is we actually, every time that we bought equipment, we would take the serial number, the model, and we created a database and how much it was, and we just added it just so we could get it straight to our insurance agent as we did it. You should probably do that too. That's a spreadsheet. If you want more of that, just drop a comment down below. And guys, I haven't said it yet. If you want me to help you grow your company, you guys want more water damage jobs, you want to be more profitable, go to workwithshane.com. We can get on a little 15-minute call. We've got a little 30-day test drive we can put you through. It works. The cost for the inland marine, $700 to 3K, so it's not too much. Now here's one, professional liability, also called E&O. I don't think I had this, by the way, and partly because I was a licensed general contractor, and so it's not always easy for a GC to get this. And the reason being, we'll get to that in a minute. This is coverage for claims alleging that there's errors based on the service that you provide. So E&O is probably more commonly associated with like a home inspector missing something. That's a better example of that, right? Like a home inspector misses something, that's an error or an omission. Insurance agents, this is a really big one for insurance agents. Attorneys, really big for that. It's professional liability, more white collar stuff. Where can it come into restoration stuff? Well, let's just look at the example. Maybe the homeowner implies that you didn't do it right, okay? Professional judgment. Like, all I can tell you is make sure that you take this and go by these, like, and these examples with your agent, and y'all just talk about it, okay? Just talk about it. Coverage $1 to $2 million, cost $2,000 to $7,000 a year. And yeah, dude, it's gonna be expensive. I think we spent well over $20-something thousand, 25, maybe even 30 grand a year on insurance. Welcome to the club. I spent over $20,000 a year on health insurance alone, like just on out of pocket, like between the premium and the copays and deductibles, we easily spend $25,000 a year. It's insane. Freaking healthcare system, a disaster. Getting off topic. Business interruption insurance. I'm pretty sure I didn't have this. I don't know. Coverage for loss of income and operating expenses if the business is temporarily closed. We're essential workers. Like in the examples, natural disaster prevents you from working on some of your projects for weeks. Like, I don't know, we're first responders. We typically just kind of find a way, but this is one that you might want to check into to see. Ask your agent, is there a need for this, etc. Because again, I might have had coverage for some of this into my other policies and I wasn't aware of it. I've made some mistakes, y'all, lots of them. Your coverage will be based and dependent upon monthly expenses and your revenue cost $750 to $3,000 a year. So recap, we talked about general liability insurance, okay? Kind of what that is, your workman's comp exemptions and your workman's comp. Make sure you check on that exemption. The commercial auto, the non-hired auto, that's a really important one. Umbrella policy, that's obviously you're gonna wanna have that as well. Pollution liability, why wouldn't you? Property insurance, now we're getting to something that may be covered into some of those other ones. Inland business marine, professional liability. So you can screenshot this too if you want and take that to your agent. Business interruption. So those are the ones we've talked about today. Which one do you think is the most overlooked? Which one? Drum roll, please. Pollution liability. And I think it's not just that it's overlooked. Most people just don't know that their G&L won't pay for that. The average general liability policy or even a professional liability policy, insurance companies love to weasel out of stuff. In case you didn't know, you're going to find out as your restoration contractor. They don't like to pay for stuff, okay? They don't like to pay for things. And it's weird because that's kind of their job. If they can weasel out of it, baby, they will, and they will. Pollution liability is a really big one, and here's the reason why. Mold is expensive. Mold is expensive, okay? And if they can get out of that, they're gonna try to, okay? Mold's probably the biggest problem. Asbestos is also another one that you might accidentally disturb and aerosolize the asbestos, something like that. And then again, in mold, you might have a situation where they might allege either A, you did something wrong and you didn't have it under negative air and it escaped and you made it worse, or it might be a situation where they think that you did not do it properly and then it came about. Even the allegation, fellas, even the allegation requires that you have the policy. Because if they are alleging this, I'm telling you, your insurance company won't fight it unless you have it. Don't skip this one. Don't skip this one. I would tell you my two biggest one, the pollution liability and the workman's comp exemption, but you should already have the workman's comp exemption. Hopefully that is helpful for you guys. If you like this video, share this with somebody. Tag me in it, okay? If you have any questions, you want somebody to help you grow your restoration company, go to workwithshane.com. We'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that video, I've got 3 things for you. Number 1, if you haven't yet, click on my face below and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Okay, we put out new content each and every week. Also, if you want me to help you grow your company, go to workwithshane.com. Workwithshane.com, put in your information, we get on a call and see how we can help you grow your company. Lastly, there'll be some other videos right here. If you want to watch more content about growing your restoration company, check out one of these videos. We'll see you guys on the next one.